Coming up on today's show, a look at PlayStation's jump into live service games. Hello YouTube, it's PS Gaming Scotland here and welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are well and gaming lots. On today's video I'll be looking at PlayStation's jump into the live service genre of games and whether I think it's a good thing or a big risk. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts below. Do you think PlayStation's soiree or jump into live service games is a good thing for the PlayStation brand as a whole, or do you think it's a major L? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. So what we know is PlayStation recently bought Bungie for $3.5 billion. Bungie being the makers of like Destiny, which is a live service game. So basically it's a multiplayer game for anyone that doesn't know. Multiplayer game that you can play with friends, upgrade your items, level up, complete challenges, but the content continuously get added months and years in the future. So it's basically a never-ending multiplayer game, and you can buy microtransactions with real money to try and improve your character and have an advantage against other players online. We know that Destiny are now under the PlayStation wing, and they are there to basically help PlayStation make 12 live service games by the end of financial year 2025. Now whether all these games release by that point or whether they get delayed is another story, but there's going to be 12 games from a lot of different articles that I've read. A lot of them are not announced yet, but there's a handful that potentially could fit under the sort of live service umbrella. So that being the ones that I can think of potentially. So a potential Twisted Metal game, I think that might be a rumour at this stage. We don't know exactly about that game. Last of Us Factions 2, that's recently been scaled back from Naughty Dog's recent announcement. We've also got Marathon that was shown at the PlayStation Showcase, so that's 3. I'm sure there will be other multiplayer games which we don't know about currently at the time of recording this video. So there are potentially going to be 12 games by the end of 2025, as I've said. However, with also the Activision Blizzard deal still going on, we don't really know the outcome of the Activision Blizzard deal on PlayStation, and just say hypothetically Microsoft were to basically acquire Call of Duty, they'll probably put it on Game Pass, and that would leave PlayStation a big sort of hole in the first person shooter sort of genre. Now they've had really good multiplayer games from some of their past franchises, like the Uncharted 4 multiplayer, that's still going strong. We've got Last of Us Factions, the original on PS4 Remastered, that's still going strong. As I said, we've got Twisted Metal, we've had Resistance 2 and 3 multiplayer back in the day, Killzone Shadowfall multiplayer, we've had SOCOM back in the day as well. So there are multiplayer modes out there that could come back and replace the Call of Duty filled hole. Hypothetically at the moment, if that gets put over to Xbox only, then PlayStation will have games to compete with losing Call of Duty. So in that being said, in some ways PlayStation, we all know, are experts in single player, story driven, action adventure type games. There are loads of them to choose from all different genres of game. When PlayStation announced that they were going to dive into live service, I was worried, because even though they had a lot of multiplayer modes, that's totally different to like a PvP type multiplayer game, solely focused on multiplayer, a continuous revenue stream or income over months and years. That's totally different. These two things are totally different. We have seen GT7 with the issues around launch of that game, with the different microtransactions not being right. I think that has been fixed, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, that was a sort of wake up call when PlayStation put GTA multiplayer in that game. So I'm really sort of concerned with this new step or jump into the live service games genre, because we do know that they can fail, and also it's a big risk. Now why would a company want to potentially ruin their reputation on these live service games when we know basically back in the day when Fortnite launched or Overwatch launched, every game company and franchise wanted to put their own multiplayer live service game out there into the world. But also, as we know, a lot of those multiplayer games have been shut down, either because players initially liked it at launch but then just dwindled away as weeks and months and potentially years went on. It's very difficult to put a lot of time, resources and money into these games, because people will want constant updates throughout the many months and years ahead, playing with their friends or play with people online. And I don't think, especially with Naughty Dog recently coming out and saying that they're putting some of their staff that were on this multiplayer Factions 2 game into other projects. Maybe they were too ambitious, or maybe it just wasn't fun enough. Who knows? We don't know. I hope Factions 2 does come out eventually, but yeah, so it can be very risky, and just my impression, I hope I'm wrong here, I just feel that maybe Naughty Dog were too ambitious and intentionally didn't understand the time commitment, the monetary amount of commitment to make these live service games that have constant updates. PlayStation's jump into live service games are a big risk. I personally feel it's the wrong move because I like my single player story driven games, but I can totally understand why people would want PlayStation to continue to diversify and have a variety of different games out there for the fans. So as always, let me know what you think below. Are you a fan of PlayStation's move into live service games, or are you like me where you prefer your traditional single player story driven games, or are you a fan of a bit of both, a bit of single player games, a bit of live service multiplayer games? Yeah, let me know your thoughts below. But yeah, that is my sort of video about PlayStation's jump into live service games and why I think it's a potential risk. But there can be, if PlayStation finds its big live service game, I do worry that they will continue to focus on live service games, getting that monthly income continuously, and sort of forget about PlayStation single player games. But they have said they will continue to do live service games and single player games going forward. But as always, we'll just have to wait and see how all of this turns out. But yeah, that is the end of today's video. As always, thank you very much for watching. I've been PS Gaming Scotland, and I'll see you on another video. Thanks very much indeed, guys. Bye bye.